And there we are. We are about to resume with the Fruit of Grisaia, and I will do my damnedest to make sure I can keep this on a regular upload basis. I will do my goddamn damnedest to make sure that I can. So, with that, I cheers to you, the audience, with my Mountain Dew Violet. And now we shall continue with Amane's past. Oh, and welcome. My name is Yuusha Anime, and welcome back to the Fruit of Grisaia. I've forgotten what part number we're on, but I know we're definitely in like the 30s, I think, if I remember correctly. I might have it wrong, so please bear me if I am. But I'm going to see if I can make slightly longer Grisaia videos, just for the sake that this is a massive game, and just to get through one route, I think it's over 50 hours. So I also want to go through more of the Grisaia series, which there are a number of games as well. I won't be able to do some of the spin-off games, because of course there's restrictions on them, but I can definitely go through the main series as well as the Chidu spin-off games, because they are completely loud. But anyway, enough about that. We're about to jump right back into this and discover more about Amane. So guys, I've also removed my camera for this one because of slow frame rate. But, ikimashouka. I was actually understanding her less and less the longer we talked. The one thing I did understand was that Kazumi Kazuki's jokes aren't funny in the slightest.
一言で言えば絶望的な環境ね。
Having returned to the site of the accident, Kazuki and I explained the situation of Captain Sakashita, showing her the compass and its non-functional needle. She didn't stir from the rock she had been sitting on. When we finished our story, she sighed deeply, leaned forward to take her head in her hands, and answered with a brief, "I understand."
それで怪我人の方は
The captain's only response was to sluggishly raise one hand at point, in the direction she indicated. Koide Ritsu was examining the wounded while trying to hold back her tears. Yeah, somebody's died.
先生には大きな外傷もないし、軽い脳震盪だと思うから、しばらく横になっていれば意識が回復すると思う。
So he'll be able to recover.
広岡さんは左のすねと右の膝を骨折してる。飛び出してはいないけど、両方とも完全骨折。意識はしっかりしてるけど、だいぶ苦しんでるわ。桜井さんは腹部裂傷。事故の拍子で何か尖ったもの。傷跡から想像すると、多分割れた瓶だと思うけど、お腹に突き刺さったみたい。
Jesus.
金田さんは頭部裂傷、右目の上あたりの額を切ってる。多分何かにぶつけたんだと思う。もう出血は止まってるわ。
それで
それってって。
What do you mean?
え、本当に見ただけ？治療はしていないの？
She can't do it with
無理を言
nothing.
わないで。道具も何もないのに。道具があったところで私には無理よ。
Oh,
折れていた
you're
ら
gonna
位
do
置を合
something,
わせ
aren't
て
you,
固定
Kazuki?
するだけ。避けていたら縫い合わせるだけじゃない。
そんなのやったこともないのに無理よ。簡単だって言うならあなたがやってよ。
She can,
じゃ
can't
あ
she?
お湯を沸かしてくださる？キャンプの道具の中にガスコンロがあったでしょ。たくさんお湯を沸かして生食を作ってください。ついでに救急箱と釣り道具も発掘してきてくださるとありがたいですね。
あ、はい、わかりました。
Kazuki, you already know about Survivals 101, don't you? Very well.
骨折の治療とか経験があるの？
ないわ。
No, of course
本で
not.
読んだ知識があるだけ。あなたは？
ない。
まあ普通はないわよね。
Yeah, it's not normal.
大丈夫なの？
経験や自信のある人がいるなら変わるわよ。私だって後から来て人の仕事を奪った出しゃばりな女だと思われたら心外だもの。
No, that would be the worst scenario, actually. Kazuki turned around quickly to face the depressed group of girls, raised her right hand, and asked, "Does anyone have medical experience?" None raised their hand in response. No one raised their hand in response. No one even met Kazuki's eyes.
誰も経験がないのなら誰がやっても同じじゃない？それともこのまま怪我は自己責任ってことで放っておく？
Nah,
それは
that's
さす
worse.
がに。
私ね、できることはあったのにっていう後悔が一番悔しいと思うの。そんなわけだから一人ずつ見ていきましょうか。
金田さんが嫌いだから？
No, no, no.
金田さんが一番軽症だからよ。軽症の子を見ている間に重症の子が死ねば、無駄な診察をしないで済むでしょ。
It's
嫌
a bit
だ
of a
わ。
harsh one.
なぜ黙るの？冗談を言ったのだから笑ってくれないと恥ずかしいじゃない。
That wasn't a very
言
good
えない
joke.
し。ねえ、あなた友達っているの？
そうね。今のところあなただけかしら。
Oh.
だからなぜ黙るの？
笑えばいいの？
そうね。そしたら私は泣くわ。
ごめん、会話の速度についていけない。
Kazuki is just way smarter than the average kid, definitely. Following Kazuki's instructions, everyone with the physical energy and willpower to move cooperated to retrieve the first aid kit, camping equipment, and fishing tackle from the overturned bus. Kazuki gathered the tools she thought would be useful, passed them then to Koideritsu to be disinfected, and began examining the wounded while waiting for the water to come to a boil. As promised, she looked at Grisaia and her head laceration first.
どう？耳はちゃんと聞こえていますか？右と左で聞こえ方が違うとかは？
大丈夫みたい。
そう。じゃあ手を出して。まずは右手。
Okay. Canada's wounds would have already been disinfected, shut. Why can't I speak? Oh god. Canada's wound had already been disinfected, soldered shut, and covered with a roll of bandage. When Kazuki said she planned to use a fishing hook to stitch up the cut, I couldn't help raising doubts about whether such a procedure could be hygienic, but as long as it's sterile, you can. When she responded, well, I suppose we could try sticking it together with super glue. I'm sure that would make for a much prettier result. I decided I should probably keep my mouth shut. I mean, there's also that possibility as well, but it's very painful. My little brother actually had that happen when he was younger, so and his head had to be glued back up at that point as well. I remember that one. Phew, that bloody scared the life out of me. I decided I should probably keep my mouth shut. After that, I did nothing but silently record Kazuki's words in the memo pad we were using as a makeshift medical record.
どう？痛い？
Kazuki took a firm grip on Canada's right hand and dug her nails firmly into her index finger.
痛いってば。
あ、ごめんなさい。それじゃあ左手は？同じように痛みを感じる？
だから痛いってば。
It almost seemed like Kazuki was enjoying watching Canada squirm in pain. A question leaked out of my mouth.
ねえ、さっきから何をしているの？
Just make sure the nerve endings are working right.
彼女、頭を打ったみたいだから、感覚器官や神経で左右に差異がないか調べているのよ。傷口を縫っている時に気がついたのだけれど、彼女、左目がわずかに内斜視なのよ。右目と左目で見えている範囲も違うの。
That's very clever.
気がつかなかった。
I hurriedly add the word esotropic to the record in the notebook.
あなた、お名前なんておっしゃったかしら？
金田サーヤ。
ああ、そうそう。金田サーヤ。サーヤさんね。いい名前だわ。
そう思う？
ええ。
Oh, that's cute.
もし私が犬を飼っていたら、そう名付けたいぐらいよ。
Oh, damn.
ごめんなさい。この人、冗談がきついから。
Yeah.
あら、どうしてあなたが謝るの？
それは、私があなたのお友達だからよ。
You did that
あ
very
ら、嬉し
quickly.
い。私、親友って初めてよ。
Oh, Shinyu. Ooh, I didn't remember adding best to that phrase, but leaving it unsaid was probably the smart move here. Well, I'd learned that much, so I must have been growing used to her. I guess the word friend I'd spoken just now wasn't entirely sarcastic. Do you know what's the best part? She's literally the female incarnation of Yuji, and it's brilliant.
今すぐあなたを抱きしめてキスをしたいところだけれど、今は金田さんの診察中だから後でね。
Okay.
ごゆっくりどうぞ。
どこまで見たかしら。ああ、そうそう。金田さん。あなた
Whoa!
は子供の頃に虐待を受けたことは？
ないわ。
母親に床に落とされたことも？
ない。
だったらシャシは今回の事故が原因ね。大丈夫、治るらしいから。はい、次の方。
Okay. I mean, doing it right by bit. Kazuki continued her examinations along these lines, eventually working her way through all of the girls, even those with no apparent injury.
今の子で最後ね。軽い内身で内出血してる子もいたけど、ほとんどが軽傷ね。
一番の重傷はやっぱり広岡さんね。
Hmm.
左肩の脛骨と腓骨が切損。右足は大腿骨の遠位骨が複合骨折。
The tibia and fibula, that is literally the two bones that hold the bottom of your leg together, if I remember correctly, just below the knee. Quite a lot of there's a few MMA fighters who haven't learned to kick properly in their fights, who have broken their legs because they kicked just slightly incorrectly and actually end up breaking their bones. I remember watching it and it was brutal.
両方とも閉鎖骨折だから細菌感染の心配はないし、一応骨は固定してみたけど、病院に連れて行かないとダメね。
Yeah, you can't do anything to fix a broken bone when you're literally stranding in nowhere.
あとは桜井さんのお腹も。
Yeah, it's a bit bad.
傷口が大きいから重傷に見えるけど、内臓には届いていないし、縫合は済ませたから大丈夫よ。
Yeah, as long as it don't open
ただ
up.
感染症が心配ね。
Yeah.
できれば病院で抗生物質を投与した方がいいわ。
Yeah, that I would definitely say is the biggest concern if no organs have been damaged, which is a good thing. That's a very good thing.
とりあえずやれるだけのことはやったと部長に報告しておいて。
私が報告するの？
Well, she doesn't like her.
当たり前でしょ。そのためにあなたはお医者さんごっこに付き合わせたのだから。同じ言葉で状況を説明しても誰の口から出たかで印象は変わるでしょ。
Yeah.
きっと私の報告なんか信じないわよ、あの部長。
Yeah, she doesn't like Kazuki, so I understand why she had her come along with her now for it. Well, the last thing we need was Kazuki's harsh tongue setting off a fight.
部長には先生には部長から説明してくださいって言っておいて。その程度の手柄は与えておかないとすねられても面倒なだけだし。
Okay.
またそうやって余計なことを言う。
これでも随分と遠慮しているつもりなのだけれど。
You're tired, aren't you?
風見さん？
At that moment, I realized something for the first time. Kazuki's face was flushed red, her breathing was rough, and she was sweating heavily.
どうしたの？なんだか顔色が悪いけど。
これよ。
Her arm. Kazuki raised her left arm as she spoke, revealing it to be heavily swollen and purple. Ooh, oh.
ちょっとこれどうしたの？
折れてはいないようだけど、
Oh,
ひびは入っているみたい。いわゆる不全骨折というやつね。
They hurt. They hurt.
その左腕ってまさかバスの中で私が踏んでいた場所？私のせいで？
Oh, that was us.
事故の直前に
Oh,
とっさにシートベルトを腕に巻きつけて衝撃に備えたせいよ。ただでさえ負荷がかかっているところにあなたに踏んづけられてとどめを刺したのだとしても、そもそもあなたのせいで事故が起きたわけではないでしょ。
That's true. This is quite a dire situation. We already know everyone else is gonna die as well.
でも私があなたを下敷きにしてしまったから。
気にしすぎよ。それとも、もし私があなたのせいだとわめき散らしたら、あなたは自分の腕を切り落として私にくれるの？
I'm surprised she didn't tell anyone except
ごめんな
me.
さい。それは無理。
Then again, that freaking girl probably wouldn't have liked her, even pointing out, look,
私も気にしていないわ。
I'm injured and I'm still tending to everyone.
落ち込まないでよ。本当に気にしていないから。どうしよう。 もう少し優しく言った方が良かったのかしら。
大丈夫なの？
That's a good
痛い
question.
わよ。でも泣くほどではないし、泣いて痛みを紛らわせるほど子供でもないわ。
ごめんなさい。
あなた、自分を罰してくれる人がいないと落ち着かないタイプ？まあいいわ。だったらこの左腕のことは貸しにしておいてあげる。
Oh, a dare.
私？
そう。叱る時に望まれれば、あなたは私の命令を拒否できない。それで許してあげる。
Ooh.
今言ってくれればすぐに従うのに。
Nah, that's not the point. She said any time.
いい？貸しっていうのはね、返してもらわない方が大きな利益を生むのよ。
Otherwise, it's not a
覚えて
dare.
おきなさい。心配しないでいいのよ。私も別にお友達から高い利子を巻き上げようとは思わないから。
Kazuki's expression as she spoke those words was an artificially perfect smile, suggesting a kind of maturity well beyond her years. Well, she's literally a walking genius at this point. As I watched her face, I felt sticky sweat seeping out the back of my head. Did I really just put myself at the mercy of a person like this? Yeah, pretty much. Our basketball team's advisor, Mr. Ochi Yoshihiko, regained consciousness 30 minutes later. After hearing a brief summary of the situation from Captain Sakishita, Mr. Ochi called for all the surviving students and had us sit on the ground together. What about the person with broken legs? Oh, there she is.
事故の原因は何だったのですか?
Ooh, hold on. Let's have a look at the CG. So there's the girl with the broken legs. The girl with the bandaged head. Yeah, okay, Kazuki's actually got her arm bandaged up. Okay. Okay. In the first place, what's the cause of the accident? Just as if we were still in the classroom, Captain Sakishita raised her right hand as she spoke. At nearly her accusatory tone, our young teacher and the driver of the bus wrinkled his face into something very close to a scowl.
急にハンドルが取られて、慌ててブレーキをかけたが止まりきれずにそのまま崖下に転落した。おそらくはパンクだろう。
Well, you're very polite.
パンクの原因は何ですか?
俺が知るわけないだろう。俺は今目が覚めたばかりなんだぞ。
大きな声を出さないでください。みんな不安なんです。先生がそんなことでは。
分かっている。
A worthless argument along these lines continued for a good 10 minutes. Wow. I mean, you're not doing a good job of communicating with him. He's just got conscious and everything. The situation being what it was, nobody tried to butt in or calm things down. We all sat there and waited for things to run their course. Watching our teacher and captain bellowing to each other, meaningless, a few girls began to cry from sheer anxiety. The captain seized on the fact and a new line of attack. Oh, for God's sake. In the place filled with gloom and dominated by the angry voices, Kazumi Kazuki smiled brightly, drew her face close, and began to whisper in my ear. So, this girl really has a superiority complex. Like, she expects to have all the answers immediately right there and right now. I mean, he's just got regained consciousness after being the one that was driving it. Like, how can you expect him to know if he's just woken up? And also, you're talking about worthless stuff. You should be talking about how to freaking get out of here.
いやーね。どんな時でも自分以外の責任が確立しないと落ち着かないのかしら。
Yep.
今は原因や責任の所在より話し合うべき重要なことがもっとたくさんあると思わない?
True enough, but I couldn't understand what she expected to accomplish by murmuring this to me. A provocation. It wasn't like I had the ability to redirect the discussion. Complaining wasn't going to get us anywhere. If anything, there was a good chance this might make the situation even worse.
そこ、こそこそと何を話しているの?
There we go. See, I told you so. When you get spotted gripping in the shadows, of course you're going to get told off. As I hesitated, searching for some kind of excuse, Kazuki abruptly raised her right hand and asked for permission to
パン
speak.
クの原因ですが、おそらくは廃材を積んだトラックの荷台から何か鋭利な金属片のようなものが落ちて、それを私たちのマイクロバスの前輪が踏んだのだと思います。
根拠はあるの?
バスのタイヤを見てください。
As directed by Kazuki's words, everyone present turned to look at the tires of the overturned bus. The front wheel of the right side was nearly torn around, the circumference track cracked into two vertical halves. Oh wow!
例えば尖った金属の板のようなものを踏んでしまい、 そのまま車体のどこかに引っかかって回転するタイヤを連続で傷つけ続けた結果、最後にタイヤが破裂したのではないかと。
Watching Katsuki explain her theory with words and gestures, the majority of us felt the pieces falling into place. It made sense.
今時の車のタイヤは釘を踏んだ程度なら一瞬で空気が抜けてしまうことはないそうですが、金属片でタイヤを裂かれてしまえばどうしようもないわ。またそんなものを踏んづけた先生が悪いわけでもない。たとえタイヤが裂けてパンクしても直線道路であったら安全に止まることはできたはず。あえて何が悪かったのかというのを決めるのであれば、カーブの途中でタイヤが破裂したという運のなさが一番悪いわ。そんな悪運の中にあって、ここにいる私たちは少なくとも命だけは助かった。
こんな状況で私たちに何ができると？
What do you expect me to say to that?
絶望しないための努力なんてどうかしら。つまり前向きな希望探しの話し合いなんて素敵じゃないかと私は思うのだけれど。
Yeah, instead of throwing accusations and everything right now, it's literally the worst thing you can do with other young people still here. Rather than grieving over your poverty, fantasize about what you'll buy if you win the lottery. You'll sleep better at night. That was Kazuki's argument in a nutshell. Although, if she'd said it outright, it was obvious she would have angered the captain. And so, at Kazuki's request, I took my notebook in one hand and repeated the details of our situation to the group. We were surrounded by a dense sea of trees without so much as an animal trail running through it. The cliffs hung over us like an overturned mortar bowl, making a climb back to the road impossible. And our cell phones couldn't find a signal. To escape, our only option was to walk away from the road and into the forest, but probably because of the meteorite that fell nearby, there seems to be dense deposits of metal scattered throughout the area. And thanks to these pockets of concentrated magnetic material, our compasses would be of no use. It seemed plausible that this strange hole with its overhanging walls had been gouged into the earth by the impact of that meteorite. The bare rock of the walls had turned to glass under the assault of momentary high temperature. Even reading this out to dry, factual summary of our situation from the notebook was enough to drain my spirits. Where exactly were we supposed to find hope in any of this? It does seem pretty dire, that is true. I'm also curious, out of all of the girls, who's the one with the cut stomach? Because I would think the one with the cut stomach, I think it's this girl with the purple hair that's got the cut stomach, I think.
こうなってしまえば、下手に動き回っていたずらに体力を消耗するより、おとなしく救助を待った方がいいわね。
How long?
はい、それが最善かと。
Although I wanted to escape this disturbing place as quickly as possible, there's no guarantee that any of us will return alive if we wandered off aimlessly now. That's true. Continuing the investigation of our surroundings until a more certain path presented itself, while waiting for the arrival of a rescue seemed the wiser choice by far. I felt a wave of relief wash through my body at the captain's decision.
あら、それはどうかしら。
Yep, there we go. I looked behind me with a start. Kazumi Kazuki, the very person who shoved me into this little stage, had spoken those words. Kazuki, the very person who told me to explain things clearly and logically so no one acts rashly, had disrupted the discussion, just as we were beginning to reach a consensus. I couldn't begin to understand why. I glanced at her face with an irrepressible
ど
frown.
ういう意味かしら？何か反論でも？
ええ、
Yeah.
確かに下手に動き回ったところで生還できるという保証はどこにもない。けど、待っていれば助けが来るという保証もどこにもありません。
It's
それ
true.
ぐらい私にも分かっているわ。一生ここで助けを待つつもりはないけれど、十分な調査もしないまま密林に踏み込むのは自殺行為だとは思わなくて？
十分な調査とは何をもって十分と判断するのですか？食料どころか飲み水すら潤沢ではないこの状況で、
Yeah.
腰を据えて考えている余裕があるとは思えません。
You can't. The way you look for things when you're in the wild, the first thing you look for is water. Not food, but water. You can survive longer with water. You can survive longer without food than you can with water. With water, you can only last 2 days without it, I think, completely. And food, you can survive 7 days without it, from the human body average, if my memory is correct.
それならいっそ気力と体力が充実している今のうちに腰を上げるべきかと愚行しますが。
That's also a possibility.
それは本当に愚行よね。
What?
私たちのような素人が考えるほど山は甘くないわ。私の判断が気に入らないのなら、 どうぞあなたお一人で森に入られて結構よ。
Wow,
口が過
okay.
ぎたようです。申し訳ありません。
分かればいいのよ。
I mean, the thing is that both of you aren't wrong. There's just the problem of that rescue may never come, and we're in a desolate area where nothing can be picked up. If it was unexpected to hear Kazuki raise an objection in the first place, it was just as surprising to see her withdraw her opinion so easily. Still holding my silence, I asked Kazuki a question with my gaze. What was that all about? In response to my glance, Kazuki returned to her own wordless answer with the movement of her eyes and a jerk of her chin. Don't worry about it, keep going.
それでは次に私たちがするべきは、ベースキャンプの確保になります。横転したバスから使えそうな道具を持ち出す作業に取り掛かるというのはどうでしょう。
そうね。
That's
そうし
a
ましょ
good
う。
idea. Yeah.
では手分けをして作業に取り掛かります。それでよろしいですね、先生。
ああ、
Of
そうし
course.
よう。
Of course, that's literally the best thing you can do right now. After that, we were divided between a group collecting things from the bus, and a group responsible for sorting those items and preparing to erect our tents. We set about our work in silence. I was assigned to the collection team because of my sturdy physique, which meant I was stuck with the job of crawling into the overturned bus, dragging out whatever luggage I could find. The work itself wasn't that difficult in the physical sense, but inside the bus, the body of the two girls who had died instantly was still left untouched. And every time I passed by, I couldn't help but see resentment in their faces chewing my lower lip. I forced out the willpower to go on. Although I wasn't conscious of it, the strain on my nerves built with every trip. Finally, the dim interior of the bus was all but emptied of luggage, with the exception of the personal belongings of the dead. Probably because I'd passed the corpses so many times now, I had grown somewhat used to their expressions of bitter regret. Or maybe it would be more accurate to say my emotions had been paralysed. Ooh, interesting word choice. Oh, hello, noises? And so, I joined my hands before the body of Shikanai Tsukasa, my senior by 2 years, and whispering, I'm sorry, pulled her luggage free.
どう？
Oh,
急に
hello.
大きな声を出さないでちょうだい。耳が切なくなるわ。
びっくりした。急に声をかけないでくれる？
急ではない声のかけ方ってあるの？
Probably not.
何なの？何か用？
手が空いたから死体から私物を剥ぎ取るのを手伝いに来たのよ。
Oh.
その言い方はどうだろう？
どうせ聞こえちゃいないわよ。
As she spoke, Kazuki gently closed Shikanai
もう
senpai's
一体
eyelids.
は
あっち
Ozawa senpai.
2年の小沢先輩。
小沢？ああ、自己管理のできていない体型をした人ね。
どうして素直に太ってるって言わないの？
Oh.
そんなことを言ったら彼女が傷つくじゃない。
どうせ聞こえちゃいないわよ。
まあ、なんて
Oh.
罰当たりな。
Oh.
あなたがそれを言う？
私は毎週日曜日の朝には
Church every Sunday.
そうか。私は笑えばいいの？
もう遅いわよ。
Yeah, too late.
デブの先輩は私に任せて、あなたはその荷物持って外に出ていなさい。
Oh.
デブって。
Yikes. Kazuki was a truly elusive person. At times she reversed herself with dizzying speed. Had she seen that I was depressed and turned to this black humor to make me smile?
そういえば、さっきはどうして急に部長に反論を？あんなの予定になかったじゃない。
ああ、あれね。あなた、あの時の部長の顔を見た？
見たけど。
あなたの口から状況説明を聞いているうちは良かったのだけれど、あなたが会話の主導権を握り始めた途端に不機嫌な顔になったのよ。だからあの人がおかしな反発意識を持つ前に私が反論してみせたのよ。
Just so that she can
私
consider
が
multiple
口を
things.
挟めば、あの
Right.
人は当然噛みついてくるだろうし、その上で私を言いまかしたとなれば、しばらくは機嫌も良くなるだろうしね。
Oh, you let her win.
わざと？
もしあの場で私が口を挟まなければ、食べ物が心もとなくなる3日後ぐらいには値を上げて脱出しましょうと言い出すかもしれないでしょ。でも私の意見を押しのけて通した意見を覆すとなれば、私の意見は正しかったと認めることになる。
Yep. The obstinacy toward Kazuki had become a powerful reason for her to keep us where we were.
ここまで考えて。
長い
Smart.
スパンで見れば負けることで得る利益もあるということよ。
That's
こんな
true.
状況では一瞬先の自分すら想像できないかもしれないけれど、10日後の自分を想像して行動しなさい。
Ooh.
私、あなたのそばにいると息が詰まりそうだわ。
そうでも短くもたった一度の人生よ。一人ぐらい天才と知り合いになっておくのも悪くないわよ。
天才か。っていうか、自分で自分を天才って言っちゃうんだ。
I mean, in all fairness.
人に言われると腹が立つけどね。あなただって人にバカだと言われれば腹は立つのに、自分のことを私バカだからと言って相手を油断させるでしょ。
実際バカだもの。
あら、あなたはバカじゃないわよ。本当のバカっていうのはね、天才を敵に回す人のことを言うの。
私たちって確かお友達だったよね。
ねえ、そう。あなたのそういう頭の回転の速さは私気に入っているわよ。
恐縮です。
What the heck? Gee, seriously? I must be something like a toy to her. I did feel a discomfort at the effortless control she had over me, but I'm sure Kazuki knew as well as I did that I wouldn't oppose her in the end. That realization was irritating in its own right, but truthfully at this point I'd gotten myself so aggravated that I felt like smiling instead. Heaving a loud sigh of surrender, I turned my attention back to stripping the dead girl of her possessions. Alright, now we've got everything, I think. It took an hour to retrieve all the camping gear and personal belongings from the overturned bus. But now we had to face a difficult question. What do we do about the two bodies still in the bus? That was the problem. Somebody raised the idea of having everybody take them out together. But considering the cramped interior of the bus, it would be impossible for all of us to participate. Someone else suggested that we should leave them be rather than clumsily dragging them around, but... At Kazuki's words, it's hot today, isn't it? How long does it take for a corpse to begin rotting, I wonder? That idea was instantly abandoned. Finally, everyone gathered there, fell silent. Our pleading glances settled on the only man present, Mr. Ochi. And after a few minutes, when he placed his hands on his knees and stood with all of us, I'll do it. Every one of us breathed a sigh of pure relief. Having entered the overturned bus alone, Mr. Ochi emerged with Shikanai's body cradled in his arms. The only one who witnessed that moment were Kazuki, Captain Sakashita, and me. The others cast their eyes to the ground or turned away, avoiding the sight of their acquaintance's corpse. Probably because that the sight was a distillation of a pitiless reality. To see that the moment that would have meant facing the truth that they wanted so desperately to forget. To be honest, when I was collecting luggage from the bus, I had placed a hand on Shikanai's body with the thought of carrying it outside. The sad part about this is when you're at this younger age, just imagine being in a situation and seeing one of your classmates dead. Like, you were basically like a kid around this age. Like, maybe even 13. I don't know how old they are in this bit. But just imagine seeing one of your dead friends at that age. That'd be terrifying. Like, of course you would look away. Especially if you want to escape reality for a moment to think you're going to be fine. Startled to learn exactly how cold a human body could become when its blood stopped flowing, I withdrew my hand instantly. I hadn't felt this kind of shock when I touched my grandmother's body in the casket at her funeral. Grandma's death, which I had known would become eventually, wasn't nearly that cold to the touch. Touching this girl's death, a death I couldn't view with composure or resignation, turned my spine to ice. I didn't ever want to feel that way ever again. Watched the removal of the bodies in solemn silence, I reflexively brought my hands together and began to pray for the dead. From behind my back, I can hear whispering voices. That body, what do we do with it now? Bury it somewhere, I guess. Can we just do that when we're rescued? Won't her family be mad? We can't assume help will arrive right away. We can't just leave it like this. It's summer after all. Apparently, sensing our anxiety, Mr. Olchi decided to bury the 3 bodies some ways away. At the very least, it wouldn't do to leave them where we could see them. Practically speaking, if we'd watched those corpses rot before our eyes, we would have put our mental health at risk. Well, yeah, because you would think that you would become like that. In a situation like this one, panic is the greatest enemy. For the same reason, we decided it would be best if none of us acted alone. We paired off into units of 2. To put things nicely, the idea to establish a dynamic of mutual support. But when you got the heart of the matter, when you got to the heart of the matter, we were supposed to watch each other like the hawks for signs of abnormal behavior. If one member of the pair caused a problem, both would be held responsible. We need to watch everyone now, just to make sure that they don't do anything crazy. Well, I've been 80% sure it would turn out this way from the moment I'd heard about the rule. Kazumi Kazuki named me her partner. The look on her face, saying it was the most natural thing in the world.
というわけだから、これからもよろしくね。
As she spoke, Kazuki moved to show me her left arm, now wrapped in a sling. Her meaning was clear enough. My arm was disabled thanks to you, so it's only natural that you pick up the slack for me, right? Right, I'm gonna be back in a second. I just need to pop to the loo, so be right back. Alright, there we go. Back and ready to jump back in. Nice. Also, I was just double checking to make sure that this was also properly recording when the frame rate drops to like 0 frames per second, because there's literally nothing that happens once that little indicator on the bottom right's gone. So I was hoping it would actually still record my voice and have no problems. It doesn't seem to have any problems, so woohoo, let's go. I didn't have any objection to acting as a unit with Kazuki. Judging from her words and actions so far, she was intelligent and knowledgeable. If I followed her lead, things shouldn't go wrong. Even so, I couldn't quite repress my feelings. Something like dissatisfaction or maybe confusion. Above all, I was tired of dancing so obediently on her strings.
いじめ目的以外で私を選んだ理由があるのなら聞かせてもらえないかな。
いじめるために選んだのよ。文句があるなら聞いてあげる。対処はしないけれど。
Oh.
それって言うだけ無駄じゃない。
ストレスは減るわよ。長生きしようと思ったら溜め込まない方がいいわ。特に今のような状況ではね。
ああ、そう。
I mean, that's a fair point, yeah? I kind of agree with that.
他に何か質問は？
私をいじめて楽しい？
不思議。どうして聞きたくもない答えを聞きたがるのかしら。はっきりと言葉にしないと興奮しないタイプ？言いにくいから遠回しに言うけど、あなた神聖の魔女よ。
神聖の魔女 Really?
聞くんじゃなかったわ。
Pretty much.
大丈夫。私は神聖のサディストだから。きっとうまくいくわ。私たち。
God damn it. With those words, Kazuki held out her uninjured right arm toward me. Unable to immediately understand the meaning of her gesture, I stared blankly back into her face.
あなたも手を出してくれないと、私一人では握手はできないわ。
あ、そうか、握手ね。風見さんに握手なんて一般的な概念があったことに驚きだわ。
She is human as
私の
well.
ことは和樹さんでいいわ。あなたのことはあまねちゃんでいいかしら。それじゃ改めてよろしくね、あまねちゃん。
こちらこそよろしく、和樹ちゃん。
That was such a menacing-looking face then. I gripped Kazuki's outstretched hand with as much force as I could muster. Her hand was so small. It felt like I could quite literally crush it if I squeezed hard enough. And yet even then, when all I could see ahead of us was uncertainty and danger, I had the feeling that small hand would save me. Ooh, got a bit of hope coming. Ooh, we're now getting to the afternoon of the day. Ooh.
テントと食料を配給します。
Ooh, food distribution. Oh god, we've established some type of martial law of us. Striding our way to an unsteady foothold above us, the captain shouted it in a voice that resounded off of the walls of rock. At our feet, the food and camping equipment we had dragged out of the bus were piled in a heap.
テントは2人で1つ、寝袋は1人に1つ。 食料はとりあえず3日分を配給します。決して十分な量とは言えませんが、各自節約を心がけ、3日間持たせること。
Yeah, you've got to at least do that. Like, you gotta do some rations because if somebody overeats, your supply for everyone's gonna go downhill and communication's gonna break. In the dark cloud of bad luck that was our bus accident, our meagre silver lining of good fortune that we had been returning from a camping trip. Among the luggage we had collected from the bus, there was a variety of camping equipment as well as leftover ingredients from the meal we made the day before. There were 4 tents designed for 3 occupants and 1 large tent made for 6. Kazuki and I took one of the smaller tents, 2 sleeping bags and a mat for both of us. Our rations for the 3-day period were distributed to us in a garbage bag.
現在17時14分。18時までにテントの設営を済ませ、18時半には各自夕食を済ませてください。
Okay.
それ以降は自由時間としますが、勝手な行動をとって周囲に迷惑をかけないようにしてください。わかりましたか?
As she spoke, the captain glanced briefly around the group, then brought her gaze to a halt on Kazuki, who was standing at my side. That last understood was probably directed at her in particular, most likely. Did she not notice Captain Sakashita's hostile attitude? Did she notice and play dumb on purpose? Whatever the case, no, she doesn't care. That's funny. Kazuki answered in a high-pitched girly tone that seemed to originate from her nose.
やあね、何をあんなにピリピリしているのかしら。
風見さん、そんな声出せたんだ。気持ち悪。
もうあなたまでそんなことを言うの？別に嫌いな子にどう思われようとなんとも思わないけど、あなたにまでそんな風に思われたら私だって傷つくのよ。
Oh.
ごめんなさい。
じゃあ罰としてあなたがテントを張ってくださる？
Oh.
もともとそのつもりだったし。
I mean, it'd be kind of hard to do it with one hand anyway.
代わりに夕食の準備は私がします。やったことはないけど。
Oh. Oh, okay.
食材は人参に玉ねぎにじゃがいも。これって明らかに昨日作ったカレーの食材の余りよね。カレー粉もあるけど少ないわね。どうしよう。
待って貴重な食材なのよ。大丈夫なの？
まあ料理なんて煮るか焼くか蒸すかでしょ。きっと簡単よ。
Hold on, is this what she could probably be bad at?
いや、いい。私がやるから任せて。
でもあなたにはテントを。
いいのよ。私こう見えても一応実家が料理屋だから料理にはちょっと自信あるし。
そう？でもなんか悪いわ。あなたばかり働かせて。
I think this is her being honest.
テントを張り終わったら一緒に料理しましょう。手伝ってくれる？
Oh, that's
それは
cool.
いいわね。なんだか仲のいいお友達って感じで。
Oh.
でしょ？
とこ
That's
ろであな
cute.
た、
I like that.
お塩を使わない料理ってできる？
Yeah, of course you can.
どういう意味？
言葉の通りだけれど。
お塩ならあるじゃない。ほら。
だからそれをできるだけ使わないでほしいのだけれど。
Oh.
無理？
Oh, because if we have too much salt, it'll make you thirsty. Got it.
まあ
Make you feel dried out.
無理ではないけど、お塩がないと美味しくないよ。
It's better than eating nothing.
その辺は我慢しましょう。
Yeah.
ね。
いいけど。
After erecting our tent, I gave saltless cooking a try as Kazuki requested. Cooking the onions in the fry pan, I mixed them with mashed steamed potatoes and flavoured the mix with pepper. Then moulded it into an oval and baked it in butter, pretty much making it up as I went along. What would you even call this thing? A potato burger? A croquette without meat or sauce? Anyway, kind of an unorthodox result. Although I was frankly a little wary myself. It was pretty good when I actually ate it, and Kazuki also happily praised the taste. By some mysterious psychological process, I found that Kazuki's praise motivated me to try hard next time as well. Aww. Ridiculous as it may sound, I'm fairly sure I was beginning to genuinely like the girl named Kazumi Kazuki. Ooh. When the sun set, the sultry heat and humidity of the day vanished quickly, giving way to a chilly night. Nonetheless, I hadn't entered my tent yet. My agitation from this overwhelming barrage of events hadn't yet cooled, so I wasn't exactly sleepy. And I think I may have still been slightly resistant to the idea of entering that tent alone with Kazuki. I might sneeze, so I'm just getting some tissues. When I looked up, there was a slight silver of moonlight working its way up to us through a gap in the treetops. Amidst the darkness of the bottom of the ravine, I could just make out the domed shapes of our tents here and there. The only one in which a light was burning was the largest tent. That 6-person tent was occupied by our advisor, Mr. Ochi, along with the wounded Hiroka-san and Sakurai-san. Yeah, there we go. There's the harshness of the reality getting to them. Ooh. The dim light of a lantern projected the movements of the inhabitants as shadows on the wall, and an agonized moaning leaked from inside. It was a voice like that of a damned soul crawling through hell. Probably Hiroka-san and her fractured legs. Yeah, that sucks. When Kazuki went to check on her after dinner, Hiroka-san had been bathed in greasy sweat. The entire time we were there, she kept up a low groaning cry, never managing a coherent speech. Wow. Ooh, that hurts. The fracture had given rise to an agonizing fever. She had no method of coping with her suffering except to scream and moan. Knowing that we had to get her to a hospital as soon as possible, I also knew that we had been placed in circumstances where we could do nothing but wait for help. Frustrated impatience boiled up inside me. The food distributed to us by the captain's orders was to last 3 days, which meant that at the very least she intended to have us spend 3 days here. But what was to come after that? They hadn't planned. Obviously, what happened if 3 days passed and no one arrived to save us? A worsening tremors of anxiety crawled their way up my spine. I shivered for reasons unrelated to the temperature of my body. Our bus had fallen. Some of us had already died. But even so, something in the core of my mind seemed to be anesthetized against that truth. None of it felt fully real. That sense of numbness was what frightened me the most. What should we do? How should we survive this? No matter how frantically I tried to find answers, my mind was paralyzed, dominated by a single thought. We can't do anything. What will be. As if rejecting the hopelessness situation it had found itself in, my brain was simply refusing to think. That refusal of reality may have been a common phenomenon among us that night. For some other tent in the area, I heard the incongruous sound of brightly laughing voices. What? That laughter grated badly on my nerves. I couldn't help but turn my head toward the sound in irritation. Perhaps Kazuki, sitting next to me, felt the same way. As she likewise turned her gaze toward the laughter, there was a scowl on her face. Yeah, you shouldn't be laughing out loud like that.
和樹でいいわ。そう言ったと思うけど。
和樹、
何あまね。
あなたは今何を考えているの？
Oh.
別に何も。本を読んでいたところよ。
本？
Oh, what's the book? There was nothing in Kazuki's hands. Even if there had somehow been a book there, it would have been impossible to read in the darkness.
あなたにはまだ言ってなかったかしら。私ね、一度見た本の内容を絵として頭に記憶しておいて、
She has photographic
後から
memory.
文字として認識することで好きな時に読むことができるの。
She has a photographic memory.
ごめん、意味がわからない。
つまり、
どういう意味ですか？
開いた本のページをカメラで撮影して、後でその写真を見ることで内容を読むことができる。そういえばわかりやすいかしら。私の頭の中にはまだ読んでいない本が144冊残っていたから、そのうちの1冊を読んでいたところ。
That's an astounding memory. What the heck was I supposed to say to that? Could the geniuses of the world all do things like this? No, that was the wrong way to look at it. It's probably precisely when you can do something so utterly removed from the capabilities of other people that you deserve to be called a genius. I was confident there was simply no way I could ever pull off something like that, no matter how well she explained it to me. I would never be able to do that, or remember, at least a whole book and read it from memory.
何の本を読んでいたの？
地震で倒壊した学園の中に取り残された15人の男女学生を描いたフィクションノベル。
A fictional novel in which 15 students of mixed gender are trapped in a school that's been destroyed by an earthquake. Are you trying to think of it in this situation?
閉鎖空間に取り残された学生という設定が今の私たちの状況に近いし、何かの参考になるかと思って読んではみたけれど、ダメね。
Why do I feel like
あま
that's
り有用な情報は得られなかったわ。
I feel like that's a Danganronpa reference because 15 students of mixed gender are trapped in a school. That just makes me think of Danganronpa, just the 15 and the mixed genders, because it was very mixed. On the point of asking about the ending of that novel, I abruptly clamped my mouth shut. Even without asking, I had a rough idea. Most likely the students in that story were wiped out. That was probably the exact reason Kazuki had vaguely described it as not particularly useful. Oh. Kazuki turned her face to me with a sleepy expression, admittedly her default state, stifled a small yawn and mumbled, "It'll be 10 soon." Without a glance at any clock or watch, she has an internal clock.
することもないし、そろそろ寝ましょうか。
I actually thought I was going to sneeze, but I didn't, so yay. It was certainly true that staying up at any later wasn't going to accomplish anything, and just being awake with nothing to do would invite unproductive, depressing thoughts. I understood that, but I simply wasn't sleepy. Indifferent to my minor dilemma, Kazuki stood up immediately and opened the zipper dividing the entrance to our tent.
ねえ、カズキ。
Ooh.
はい。
あなたは不安じゃないの？
ああ、それはいい質問ね。そんなあなたの問いにずっと前から用意しておいた答えがあるのだけれど、聞く？バスの事故に遭うことも、こうしてあなたとペアを組むことも、そしてあなたがこの時間にその質問をすることも、私の中では全て想定内よ。
Jesus. Whoa.
どう？一応天才風にかっこよく決めたつもりだったのだけれど。
一応私は真面目な質問をしたつもりなんだけど。
だから私も真面目に答えたじゃない。もう寝ましょう。明日は明日できっとまた忙しくなるだろうし。
Most likely. With those words, Kazuki dropped to all fours and began to burrow her way into the tent, like a bear returning to its den. In a blank daze, I watched Kazuki's round butt wiggling under her skirt as she disappeared inside. I found myself alone, trying and failing to process the meaning of her words.
なんか今のでどっと疲れが出た感じ。
Confronted with the reality of Kazumi Kazuki, a girl who looked at first as if she wasn't thinking at all, a girl who kept her thoughts completely unreadable, I found myself feeling ridiculous in comparison. The way I drowned myself in anxious worrying, the way I worked myself into a panic over things I had no control over. Left alone in that dark and silent place, I strained my ears. Hiroka-san's moans, which ate into the heart of the listener, and the voices of laughter with their grating denial of our danger, both had stopped for now. The occasional rustling of the trees in the wind and the voices of insects were the only sounds left to echo against the walls of rock. Ooh, I like that description. Here's the thing, do I keep on going or do I end it here? Let's keep it going a little bit more. The second day in the valley. Hello, crows. I awoke to the eerie song of distant birds. I had burrowed into my sleeping bag and closed my eyes, fully expecting to lie awake all night, but evidently I must have dozed off at some point. When I forced open my unexpectedly heavy eyelids, I found the interior of our cheap blue tent illuminated by a slanting ray of morning sun. Thankfully, the temperature had risen with the dawn. I must have slept for at least a few hours, but the burden of my fatigue was no lighter. If anything, I felt even more exhausted than I had been the night before. Yeah, it's usually a result of shock. Still wrapped in my sleeping bag, I turned sideways on top of my thin silver mat. Twisting my head toward the other side of the tent, I was surprised to find my roommate missing. Kazuki? Where could she have wandered off to? The mat and sleeping bag Kazuki had been using sat on the ground next to me, neatly tied together in a tight roll. From the look of things, it was unlikely she'd stepped outside to use the bathroom. Kazuki was clearly already awake and taking action. Yeah, you're already getting used to her already. I mean, that's what I would think immediately. Like, she's not there, she's obviously doing something, and she has an internal clock. I crawled outside the tent into a clear-skied but dim morning. The sheer cliffs to our right and left intercepted most of the sun's light. What little reached us filtered down through the gaps in the thick vegetation far above. No doubt the same reason it felt oddly chilly for a summer day. Because all the wind is going across there, and because all of the wind is coming toward the rocks and the sunlight is behind this massive cliff, yeah, that would explain why it's relatively cold. Others had already emerged from their tents into the gloomy dawn. Here and there, they sat quietly on the hard stone ground. In addition to the trauma and mental exhaustion of the previous day, which slept in an unfamiliar environment, not the best way to get rested and refreshed. Most had barely slept at all, judging from the dark circles under their eyes. Should have been laughing all night then, should ya? I called out to the freshman from the neighbouring tent, Ibuki Haruna, seated some 3 meters away. Ibuki brushed her long bangs out of her eyes with her fingers and responded listlessly.
Kazuki? ああ、風見さんならシャベルを担いで森の方に行ったから、おトイレじゃないかな。
She's carrying a shovel. Why is she carrying a shovel? I turned toward the valley's lone exit, a tangle of vegetation we called a forest, but Kazuki was nowhere in sight. Jesus, hello? I did, however, happen to notice someone acting rather oddly a little way off. That's her, isn't it?
あれ、何やってるのかな。そう。
It was Sakuma Minori, a third-year senior. She was a talented athlete, particularly skilled at sinking three-pointers who'd earned the title of scoring queen. In our team, at the moment, she was repeatedly hurling a small object straight up into the air. You're just wasting your energy.
気になるなら自分で聞いてきたら。私、あの先輩苦手。
Oh, you don't like her. Got it. Ibuki didn't bother to lower her voice. She didn't seem to care what her frank words might reach the ears of our senior. As a result of our last night's discussion, she'd been paired with that very Sakuma-senpai, and was stuck sharing a tent with her for the duration of our stay here. The combination seemed logical enough, since Ibuki and Sakuma had been sharing a room as boarder students. But room assignments in the dorm were arbitrary, arranged for the convenience of the school. As in most boarding schools, the freshmen tended to moan about running chores for their arrogant older roommates, while seniors complained about being expected to clean up after some clueless brat. Oh, okay, those are some relatable points. Eesh. But I'm not going to go into detail about them. I've already talked my ass off on plenty of other things, so not doing that. Alright, just having a drink. If you're stuck living in the same room for an extended period of time, the reasonable thing would be to deal with your differences and find a way to get along. But it seems things aren't that simple, particularly for girls. I don't know about girls versus guys. I have no clue. Alright. And the roommates who disliked each other most tended to be exactly the ones who kept together when rooms were reassigned the next year. It wasn't just coincidence either. From what I'd heard, our school deliberately tried to create awkward combinations as a sneak away from maintaining discipline. Yeah, the university's done that as well, so I really, really understand that. Letting friends clump together naturally leads to cliques and group attempts to skirt the rules. In turn, this can create sharp division between those who want peace and quiet in the dorm and those who want to enjoy themselves. Sometimes these would end in nasty squabbles. In other words, the mixing of oil and water personalities in individual rooms prevented larger scale problems, or so I'd heard. As someone who commuted to school, it was a bit hard for me to understand dorm politics. Oh, they are fun. Ooh.
佐久間先輩、さっきから何をなさってるんですか？
おお、あまねか。これだこれ。
She's got a cute design. Simple, but it's cute. Sakuma held out a small object she's been hurling repeatedly into the sky. Specifically, it was herself. She's trying to get temporary signal. Are you kidding me? She'd been repeating a simple pattern of action, throwing it straight up with all her might, retrieving it on the way back down, then throwing it right back up again. On closer examination, the body of the phone was battered and covered in fine cracks. She'd probably dropped it numerous times by now.
昨日の
Most
夜
likely.
眠る前に思いついたんだけどね。メールを送信したまま空に投げればうまいこと圏内に入って助けが呼べるんじゃないかなと思ってさ。今朝からずっと試してるんだけど。
It hasn't worked, hasn't it? It hasn't worked at all. With a fluid overhand motion, Sakuma launched the cell phone into the sky once again.
それすごくいいアイデアじゃないですか。
There's one big problem. Energy. You would need a lot of energy to keep on doing that over and over. And also you'll get to the point where you'd actually burn yourself out.
だろ？私もそう思ったんだけど。おっと。
Uh-oh. Oh, she caught it. Skillfully catching the cell phone as it plunged back to the earth, she flipped on the screen and checked the status of the transmission.
また失敗か。もう50回ぐらい投げてるけど一度も成功しないよ。やっぱり風見の言う通りなのかもね。
Well, yeah, I'd believe that she would have been on this.
和樹はなんて。
ただでさえ電波が届きにくい環境の上にもし圏内に投げ込むことができたとしても送信する前に落下してしまえば意味がないってさ。
Oh yeah, that is very true.
だったら携帯が戻ってこないように崖の上まで投げちゃえばいいじゃないですか。
私だってそう思ったさ。
But then you wouldn't get the
さっきか
phone
ら投
back.
げてるのは崖の上に乗せてしまおうと思って投げてるんだけど。
But then you wouldn't get it
どうなん
back.
だよ。
You wouldn't even guarantee you get signal. You would have no closure.
あ
Although I couldn't tell the exact height of the cliff she was aiming for, a conservative estimate would be 50 meters. 50 meters. You were trying to shoot over the size of... How many people would that be? That would be around 32 people. If we're going by average size. Or maybe 24 people. And since the wall sloped over, some fairly precise aim would be required to land it on top. Yes.
後で何かうまい方法を考えると風見は言っていたけど、守備よく崖の上に乗せることができたとしても、そこが圏内である保証はないってさ。
Yeah, exactly.
そうですか。
I'd hit on the idea of making a crude sling out of a towel or something to throw the phone over the cliff, but it was true enough. There was no evidence we'd be accomplishing anything, even if it worked. And if you did manage to get it up there, you wouldn't be able to take that phone with you if by some chance there was signal and you would never know. If there wasn't any signal up there either, we'd end up throwing away a valuable potential means of communications for nothing. Exactly. And yet, Sakuma was keeping at her task relentlessly, probably most for the sake of having something to do. She seemed to know full well that it was essentially hopeless. She's doing something very dumb then.
それでその和樹を見かけませんでしたか？
風見ならさっき大きなシャベルを抱えて森に入っていったよ。30分ぐらい前かな。
Oh,
トイレにしては長いね。
ちょっと私様子を見に行ってこようかと思います。
okay.
気
Yours.
をつけた方がいいよ。さっき私も森に入ってみたんだけど、道なんてどこにもないし、周りは木ばっかりで目印がないからすぐに迷う。
Okay.
何か分かりやすい目印をつけながら行った方がいい。
I mean, yeah, that's a good bit of advice
わ
right
か
there.
りました。気をつけます。
If you're heading back and you lose your sense of direction because you don't have your compass. So that's a very important thing to do as a survival tactic. It had already been half an hour since Kazuki entered the forest. Definitely way too long for a bathroom break. It was hard to imagine Kazumi Kazuki, of all people, making such a careless blunder. But there was a possibility she'd lost her bearings and wandered into the wrong direction. I doubt that. I cautiously made my way into the forest using the blade of a can opener to mark tree trunks with arrows as I went.
和樹！
I tried shouting the name, but there was no reply. I studied the grounds at my feet, although crushed vegetation made it clear that some of us had been in this area recently. The trails were indistinct. Not that I could tell which belonged to Kazuki in the first place. When I glanced behind me, I found the route I trampled through, the high grass was still very clear by comparison. Surprisingly, however, it was a meandering zigzag, probably the result of constantly winding my way around trees. I thought I was walking perfectly straight too. This is what makes the wilderness a truly terrifying place. I thought I had a pretty good sense of the dangers of wild mountains from books and comics, but now that I was actually experiencing one, I was quickly coming to realize how badly mistaken I'd been, especially these types of forests. I'd gone in believing that getting lost in the woods would generally work out for the best, so long as you reacted appropriately. That naive thought dissolved in the mere minutes inside the jungle. In an environment utterly barren of any trace of other human beings, your sense of isolation quickly builds into anxiety. It becomes easy to rush into action based on unfounded, optimistic assumptions. It's got to be this way. It was probably over there, shying away from acknowledging the worst case scenario, running around on your intuition alone. You become truly and hopelessly lost. In time, your anxiety reaches a new stage. Am I simply wasting my energy wandering around in circles? An even worse fear because it's paralyzing. You're frozen where you stand, trapped with your own slowly escalating terror. And eventually, the fear of death creeps up on you, breaking your courage and robbing you of reason. In the end, just such an outcome is entirely likely. This has turned into one hell of a dark read. Like, wow. This is a much different tone from earlier, like, in the game. If you don't know anything about this game, like, you started where I did, like, right at the beginning, you would not know any of this would come, like, at all. And this is one route, so imagine how the other ones are going to be. It hadn't been 10 minutes since I entered the forest, and I could already feel myself trembling. I had begun to sink into the first stage, powerful anxiety at my own isolation. I screamed Kazuki's name for the second time, a little louder than before. Maybe it would be smart to return for now, while I still know the way back. Then, an organised search with someone else. Excuse me? But just as these thoughts were running through my head, I heard the rustling sound of someone stepping their way through the high grass a few paces behind me. My body went stiff with shock. I spun around to find that Kazuki had materialized out of nowhere, the usual vaguely sleepy expression on her face. Hello.
人の名前をあまり大きな声で叫ばないでもらえる？ファンに取り囲まれたら面倒じゃない。
That's funny.
そう。風見和樹よ。サインが欲しいのならマネージャーを通して事務所に色紙を送ってちょうだい。
That's funny.
何？色
紙？だからここであなたはアイドル気取りかって突っ込んでくれないとボケゾンってやつじゃない。
あ、そうか。ごめん。
She said sorry again.
いいわよ別に。それほど面白い冗談だとも思ってなかったし。
Oh, okay.
和樹、どこに行ってたの？
トイレよ。一人でゆっくり用を足すこともできないなんて、まさにアイドルのようだと思ったから口にした冗談だったのだけれど。
トイレにしては遅いじゃない。30分も頑張ってたの？
ついでだから食べられそうな草を摘んでいたのよ。ほら。
Oh. Kazuki held out some small unfamiliar vegetables. They seemed to be immature shoots of some leafy plant.
山菜でも生えていればと思って探してみたけれど、こんなものしか見つからなかったわ。
Oh.
何それ？食べられるの？
I'd imagine
サ
so.
ソテツのわかめよ。一応生でも食べられるけど、おひたしとかにした方がいいわね。
へえ、こんなの初めて見た。あんまり美味しそうじゃないけど。
When you want to
ろ
survive,
くな食
that
べ
don't
物が
matter.
ないから、それらを餌にする野生動物も当然いない。鳥の声はするけど、その姿は見えない。熊に襲われる心配がないのはありがたいけれど、改めてひどい環境だと思い知ったわ。とりあえず朝食はこれで済ませましょう。調理法は任せるけど、調味料の類はできるだけ節約して。
食材ならまだじゃがいもも人参も残ってるけど。
No, save them. Save them. Take the lesser stuff for now. You'll need that for
日持ち
later.
のするものはできるだけ
Yes.
残しておきたいの。3日でここを脱出できるとは限らないのだし。
そっか、そうだよね。
You gotta be
そんな
very
にがっ
wise
か
in
りし
these.
ないで。確かに絶望的ではあるけれど、助からないと決まったわけではないから。
私たち助かるの？
I mean, you did.
どうかしら。別にはぐらかすわけではないけれど、さすがの私にもまだわからないわね。
The question is how
私
though.
たちが助かる方法ってあるの？
あるわよ。
どんな方法？
She doesn't know it yet.
何？あるんでしょ？方法が。
あるにはあるけれど、まだ無理。
無理ってどういう意味？
We don't have the
今の
means, do we?
私たちでは実現不可能という意味よ。
Yeah, not as we are now.
ごめん、私バカだから意味がわからない。今は無理ってどういうこと？時間が経てば可能になるってこと？
そういうこと。
Yeah.
それに救助が来る可能性もまだ残っているし、今はただじっと耐えるしかないわ。
Mm.
ねえ、どんな方法なの？ヒントだけでも教えてよ。
She probably doesn't know yet.
人間が死なないために必要なものって
Oh,
なんだ？
水？
Misu's number one. Misu's number one.
あ、思い出した。さっき草を積んでいるとき、湧き水が湧いている場所を見つけたの。
おう
というわけで、飲み水の心配は不要よ。
なんだ、お水か。
That's the best thing.
そうがっかりしたものでもないわよ。
Yeah.
水があれば1週間は生きられるもの。部
Yes.
長に
I
は
said
あ
that
な
earlier.
たが発
Yes.
見したって報告してくれる？
それは構わないけど。
じゃあ戻りましょうか。
あ、待って、私まだヒントの答え聞いてないよ。人間が生きていくのに必要なものって何？
I think it's about a week. That was the
食べ
hint.
物よ。
Oh, food.
食べ物？それが助かるためのヒント？
そういうこと。
Right.
だからできるだけ接触しておく必要があるの。
それで
Right.
みんなが助かるの？
全員が助かるとは一
Not
言も言っ
everyone.
てないでしょ。
That's impossible.
もう戻りましょう。あまり遅くなるとみんなが心配するわ。
Mm.
和樹！
大丈夫よ。帰り道は完璧に覚えているから。私についてきなさい。
Photographic memories are sure something. Oh, that was a bit aggressive.
すごい剣幕ね。何をそんなに怒っているの？
ワオじゃないわよ。全員は助からないってどういう意味？
Well, people have already died.
そ
So,
ういう可能性もあるという意味よ。早い段階で救助が来ればもちろん全員助かるわ。
yeah.
じゃあもし救助が来なかったら？
Worst case
それはそ
scenario.
の時に考えればいいことよ。
Yeah.
編成された救助隊の捜索が打ち切られるのは早くて5日、遅くても14日。1週間経っても救助が来なければその時に考えましょう。みんなで。
About a week, though. Jesus.
そんなに心配しなくてもあなたはかなりの確率で生き残るはずよ。
Well, she
ど
was
んな
right.
根拠で？
そんなの決まっているでしょ。私のパートナーに選ばれたからよ。
本気で言ってるの？それ。
もちろん本気です。
Yeah, she was.
質問は以上かしら？
うん。
よろしい。では戻りましょう。
もう勝手にズンズン行かないで。
面倒な子ね。不安だから手をつないでほしいのならはっきりとそう言いなさいの。
Oh, that's funny.
別にそういうわけじゃ。
あらそう。じゃあいいのね。手をつながなくて。
Aww.
つなぐ。
はい。お声が遠いのですが。
Oh, don't be a bitch.
つなぎます。手をつながせてください、和樹様。
Summer? Oh, wow.
あら、いい子ね。いらっしゃい、あまねちゃん。
もうこれからは勝手に一人で行動しないで。私心配したんだよ。
Oh.
あなたが私を？
そりゃさ、私ごときがおこがましいとは思うけど。
いえ、
No.
そういう意味ではなくて、むしろ私を心配してくれる人がいることに驚いたというか。
It's the same with, literally, this is the female Kazuki.
でも、
Kazumi
そうね。
Yuji.
ごめんなさい。そんな顔しないで。まるで母親に置いていかれた子供みたいな顔じゃない。大丈夫。あなたを置いてどこにも行きはしないから。
約束？
ええ、約束するわ。さあ、戻りましょう。
うん。
Since I was physically sturdy, I was usually the one being relied on by others. But at that moment, I realized I'd grown totally dependent on that diminutive girl, Kazumi Kazuki. I wasn't used to leaning on others like a crutch. Clinging to someone usually made me feel more awkward than anything else. But that day, the distinct warmth of Kazuki's small hand was very reassuring.
冷たい手をしているのね、アマネ。
あ、ごめん。
いいのよ。私の母親もこんな感じの手だから。
Oh.
私のことお母さんって呼んでもいいのよ。
Wait, what?
言うようになったわね。
Okay, that's adorable. That was adorable. Alright, I think this is going to be a good place to end this off. I'm going to finish this bit of dialogue here, and then I'm going to save it, because then at least the framework won't be so stupid. Kazuki guided me by the hand back out the forest when we returned to the camp. We found everyone gathered in front of the tents, discussing plans for the future and proposing escape strategies. Of course, we were students from a school for rich young ladies, with only the superficial appearance of maturity. Producing a perfect smile for a polite good day was the extent of the practical, non-academic knowledge we'd gained there, which is Gokigenyo. Thank you, Princess of Angeal, for that knowledge. As such experience wasn't exactly much use here, the majority of the ideas were unrealistic, founded on the assumption the world would arrange itself for our convenience. And I will end this episode right here. Oh man, this is going to get real interesting real quick. But unfortunately, for this episode, I am all out of time. I know I'm probably gonna be saying less and less overall with this Let's Play right here with the past. I know I spoke over a few bits. I'm sorry about that. But at the same time, I want to take all of this in. Like, this is the drama right here that we came to see. So, without any further ado, I'm just gonna say this right now. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. Leave a like if you did, subscribe if you want any more from me. And I shall see you in the next video. So guys, there will indeed be more quality next time. Let's see how this is gonna go on. Woohoo!